Hello, folks. Hello. It is the 14th of August, and we are into our last scene here of Miguel. I started this yesterday, and you can see this is the progress that I've made. I started out with some scribbles to get the positioning, and if you recall, um, the first drawings were also scribbles, but I'm slowly changing them. So those drawings were like this more. They were more stick figure type drawings, but I went over them on a separate layer to tie them down. So and that's what I'm still doing. So that's where we are now. I need to, let's see, pull up my model. Let's see here. Where's my model? There's my model. Okay. There's my model. Okay, so here's the model of our characters, and once again, Miguel is down here. That's him right there. So we'll move that off camera here so it's not blocking you guys from seeing what I'm doing. All right, so let's see. We'll go over, let's see, we have that drawing. We're going to get to, let's see, right, and then this drawing. Okay, so let's see, we want to get that. So, all right. So, when you go over and you bring a drawing into a model, you're trying to get it to look like the model sheet that you've done. Um, if you haven't, if it's a character that you've invented, of course, then how you decide to draw that character from different angles is completely up to you. However, if you've got other animators helping you, then of course you need to create a model sheet so that you can show other animators how you draw your character from different positions. That's really the only real reason to have a model sheet. Um, why am I saying that? Well, I'm saying it because, um, like I said, if you're the person that created the character, um, you are determining the model. You are determining what the model looks like. You're determining, what that model would look like from different angles. So I say that to say that uh, there isn't really any real need for you to create a model sheet if you know that you're going to be the animator, the only animator on your film, because then all you would be you'd be creating it for no real good reason other than the fact that, well, but more than likely, even if you've animated a character, you're working on a film, you don't know how things are going to turn out later on. You might decide that you want to have help, in which case then, having a model sheet could be very helpful. But anything that will make your life a little easier in terms of work is what I would suggest anybody do. And so that means that, if you don't need a model sheet because you're going to draw the character yourself and you already know what the character should look like from different angles, then it would be unnecessary for you to uh, create a model sheets per se, because then who you're creating it for. You wouldn't be creating it for yourself. And also too, another great thing about you doing your own film, doing everything yourself, is sometimes you can save yourself some work purely because of the fact that you're doing stuff yourself, in which case then there may be things that you can do that you might not do if you had other people helping you. There might be corners that you would cut on drawing or animating or something that you might not cut or create if you had other people working on it. You know. So all of that is something that can also be the difference between you getting your film done quicker or taking longer. Because every step in your film is a process of time. And so, anything you do that's going to take more time is, any extra step you're going to take is going to cost you more time. That's all. So, you know, and in the grand scheme of filmmaking, um, there's just a lot that the audience is not going to see. The audience isn't going to know if the audience, because once again, because animation, and animation stuff goes by so fast that you can literally get away with a lot of things that you probably wouldn't be able to do in any other medium, just because of the fact that it's animation and it's created frame by frame. So, not an excuse necessarily to be lazy. That's not what I'm saying it for. I'm saying it to say that that is the nature of animation. It is inherently labor intensive. And anybody who's animated or does animate or will animate knows that. So you already know that. Let's see. So it's just the nature of the beast. I don't know if you just noticed what I just did with this hand. Like when you select something, it stays selected until that's changed. So if you'll notice, I suddenly had a hand here. And the reason why was because I went back to the select tool, went back to that function, and all I had to do was click onto paste, and it remembered the last thing I pasted, which was the hand. And so all I had to do was click paste again, and I got another one of the same hands that I had already selected before, which is what I knew I needed. Sync, sync, sync. There we go. So he gets down to there, and then he's going to go back this way. All right. Now, I might be able to use that same hand over here. Like, for instance, I could probably go to the select tool and go paste again. Yeah, see, and then I got that hand again. And because he's closer to the screen, and I make the hand a little bigger. So I got the hand there already. I don't know if there's any other heads I could use. Let's see. Well, I could probably, let's see. Well, more than likely, it's probably going to be one of these. So let's say I grab this head here, and I go copy, and then I go to the last frame, paste, and we'll pivot it around like that. Bring it down here. Maybe angle it a little more. Yeah, it's not too bad. Alright. Then I'll take my eraser, and I can make some adjustments here. So, yeah. So I know his eyes have got to be changed. He's got to be looking down where his hand is, like that. I'm going to get the chin down to here, the lips there. Okay, then on the shoulder and the hand there. There we go. Yeah, see, so now I've just saved myself a lot of work. So now let's see, I had him behind the paint line, so I'll take the eraser and I'll erase out where he is so that it matches where the paint line is going to be in front of him, like that. So there we go. Okay, there. This paint line's probably spreading a little bit because I'm tracing it by, freehand, so it's probably not 100% consistent from drawing to drawing, but that's kind of okay. There we go. All right. See, we got our scene. There we go. Now what we can do is we'll turn this layer off completely, and so we just have the cleaner layer. It's too bad I didn't make this a cleaner line, because I'm going to go over it again. But actually, what I really need to do here actually is I need to clean up the drawing a little more, I think. Yeah. Clean the drawing up a little more. The timing on it's not too bad, but it's on 6s. This is kind of long, so let's see. Well, let's see, from our first drawing to our second drawing. Let's see if we were to... Let's see, how do we want to do that? Well, okay, well, let's see. If I go down to 4s on this, 4 frames on each drawing. Okay. Okay. What I could do here too is get rid of this layer. So let's say delete layer. Let's go over here. Delete. Am I deleting the drawing? It's not letting me. Okay, it doesn't, let's say delete layer. Duplicate layer. Okay. Because I'm afraid what's going to happen is if I play this, it's going to take into account these drawings. Let's just see what happens. Yeah, it did. Okay, so in other words, it's seeing the space. Yeah, okay. So what I need to do then is I need to do the same thing on this layer that I did on the other. So I have to make this 4s as well. Yeah, because the camera is going to see that discrepancy between the 2 layers. It's gonna play back everything on the screen, whether it's there or not. That's why I was trying to delete the layer. Maybe I can delete. Let's see, what does it say here? Oh, I can delete the layer. Okay. Boom. Problem solved. I didn't know if I got it. I learned something new about these programs every time I use them because they keep updating everything. All right, so yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, all right. So that's really fast. Okay, so let's see. But realistically, well, here's what I'm going to do. Okay, so it's on 4s. It's really going fast now. So let's see. Let's bring it down to 2s. So it's really going to be smoking through here at warp speed now on 2s. But the reason that I'm going to put it on 2s is because since I'm going to add drawings, yeah, it's going to, boy, watch it. It's just going to be going zip, 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 yeah, real fast. Okay, so, but I'm just going to add drawings in here. So from here to there. So I'm going to add a drawing. So let's see. So I'll add a frame, add after. Let me put on the onion skin. There we go. Okay, so now I've got a choice here. I can either cheat the head or be a good boy and draw the in-between as it really should be. I'll be a good boy and I'll draw the in-between as it really should be. So let's go 200% and we'll get in close on this face so that we can see. Now what I'll do here is I will trace the nose and move it. So let's grab the nose and move it here. Let's see. Now I think what we'll do here, the first thing we want to do is we want to take into account that we're going from that head to that head. So we need a head in between here where he's kind of, he's turning his head and the mouth is going to be kind of in the middle here. And what you want to do when you're doing an in-between like this, you just very lightly sketch in where you kind of can see the difference between the drawings. Just very lightly. You're not necessarily drawing literal lines between lines. It's probably more like, I'd say, shapes between shapes, really. This is all cockeyed there. He's looking up the whole time. Okay. And that eyebrow's there. Okay. So now you can see we got there, there, and there. So that's pretty good. But see, then you have his arm literally going right in between, isn't it? So his arm is going to cover. His arm is probably going to sweep over this way, right? Sweeping over this way. So you got to get the arm is going to go right through his head here. So, So all of this stuff in between here, you're not even going to see it. So we'll take the eraser and erase all that stuff out. So, but you need to kind of draw it just so that you know what it is, what is underneath there. Right. There we go. So we got that arm there. Coming through here. You can see a little piece of his eye here. Probably a little bit of the eyebrow there. It's a forehead. Let's see this side of his head there. The ear probably is going to kind of go up a little bit here. There's the side of the head there. And then the other ear on the other side is probably going to be about in there somewhere. See, this is the kind of thing that in the old days we would roll. You'd be able to roll the drawings, and you could see 1, 2, 3 drawings in a sequence. I don't know if you can do. Let's see. Oh yeah, you can. You use the arrow keys. So yeah. So you can see where that middle head has to go. Yeah. So you use the arrow keys on your keyboard so that you can see where that is. I think there is a function in Animator that does that. Yeah, I don't use it. You can tell I don't use it because I see it on the key on the in the program here. And I think this is what it is down here, where I'm waving. I think it's right. I think that's your. I think this is the scrolling thing here. But you can also use the keyboard arrow keys to do that too, which is good in a way because it gives your left hand something to do. Because like in the old days, we would roll the drawings with our, if you were left-handed, you would draw with your left hand, and you would roll the drawings with your right hand. I'm right-handed, so I would then roll the drawings with my left hand and draw with my right hand. So now this is tricky because which way is, well, let's see. First of all, we got to get the hand coming through. So probably, let's see. Let's bring this down. Okay, so, well, let's see. So his hand is coming over in an arc here. Well, I could turn the hand, I could do something like this where the knuckles are going to start to turn towards me. Like that. And you'd see some of the thumb here. And then you'd have the brush up here, I guess. Yeah, something like that, maybe. So, yeah. 2, 3, like that. So you see that middle hand there, you can see how it starts to slightly turn as he moves it over. Okay. All right. Okay. Then like that. Now the tricky thing here is you've got the hair, huh? See his hair pointing that way now. It's going to point the other way. So I guess technically it would be in the front here, wouldn't it? It would be going like this from the front. And maybe down. So, dink, dink. I guess on this one it could be leaning back more, maybe, like that. So it's maybe... Yeah, there you go. But this is how you achieve an in-between. You're trying to bridge that gap, but you're also trying to deal with the head slightly changing perspective and everything else. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Come back to 100%. Alrighty. Okay, and then here, so you got the foot now. Okay, so the foot comes up. Okay, this is good. I can grab this foot here, and I can go copy, go backwards, paste. Then I can move that foot to an in-between position here. Maybe tilt it a little bit so that it matches. And then, yeah, right. Then do that on the leg to do your in-between with the leg and foot. There we go. And the hand, oh yeah, that's a piece of cake. So yeah, we can just copy a hand here. So let's see, we'll just do grab a hand, and we'll go copy, backwards and paste, and we'll move that hand. Okay. There we go. And then the arm, you can see the in-between spaces on the arm here pretty easily. There we go. Yeah, so copy pasting can be very helpful to get your in-between. You know, we're getting that. Yeah, very helpful. Yeah, nice. I'd say now, how are we doing time-wise? I think we'll stop. But yeah, I mean, like, I think on, you know, on in-betweens, you know, sometimes you can favor drawing on one side or the other, and that works in your favor. For in-betweens, a gap between the drawings can work fine. But a lot of it depends on the action that you're doing. Sometimes you need very deliberate in-betweens that look like they're halfway through on a scene in order for it to be correct. So you save time where you need to. You know, if you feel you need more drawings, you're trying to pad something out or soften the action, then by all means you add more drawings. And of course, because in your program you can click and play and see it immediately, you can make an immediate assessment as to, do I have enough frames here? Is the timing of the scene feel right? It's going to either feel right or wrong. It's either going to feel the right kind of speed, or it's too fast or too slow. You know, you're going to know that instinctively when you're looking at it. So use your instincts. Okay. Use the force, Luke. All right. Okay, folks, you have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. And don't forget, Jesus is Lord.